Hey guys, welcome to this video, and in this section of this video I'll be talking about the statistical method. I'll be looking into a lot of variations of options on how to carry out statistical method and a lot of options on how to deal with statistical method, right? Now, of course, when you talk about statistics, you would want to talk about data. You want to look at the option for data. Now, when you say data, one thing that should stick to your mind very quickly is that data have various options, right? A data can be discrete, and a data could also be continuous. Now, you have to understand these two type of data concretely and very well for you to be able to understand the concept at which we are pushing on the data. Now, when you say discrete data, these are data that could be counted. They could fit into a particular figure. For example, I could give you this. For example, I could say that, for instance, age. Age is a discrete data. Why? Age could give you numbers like you can have a person age can be 2, a person age can be 3, a person age can be 5, 7, 30, 45, and so on. So age can be all of this number, right? But there is no age that will fall on 45.5. Did you see that? 47.6. That can be age. Another thing is number of days. Days, right? A day is also a discrete data. I'll give you an example of that. It could be 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4, 5, and so on. Days could be all of that number. But days cannot be 1.5 days. So you cannot have 1.5 days or 2.76 days. These are not a kind of days that are acceptable. So we say this type of data are definitely non-discrete data. The red ones are non-discrete data, while the blue ones are the discrete data. Does that make some sense there? So we have a data which can be discrete. So there we go. Now, in most scenarios, I do say that if you want to give a discrete variable a kind of a definition, the definition you want to give to discrete variable are very, very instinct. That they are they are datas, right? That can assume a kind of a countable data. So the best definition for them, for you to use, is to say that discrete data are countable datas. So they are countable datas, countable variables. If we use the word variables, I'm going to explain what variable is on the long run. Okay, so variables could be anything. So, well, in this case, let us use datas. Okay. Now, what about continuous data? Continuous data. If you have a continuous data, now this is different. Right? To move forward, you can think about other discrete data. I've talked about age, I've talked about days, right? I've talked about number of things you own, numbers of cars. The numbers of cars that you own is also in that variable, right? We can also think about the numbers of houses. The numbers of houses in a particular environment are also discrete. There can be 1.5 houses that is in a particular environment, so it's also discrete. That's also discrete. The numbers of phones you have, the numbers of documents in your office, right? The numbers of contracts. The numbers of contract a contractor is working on is also a discrete data. So all these are discrete data and more. Now, but if you say continuous data, on the other end, you want to think about it, and very quickly you just give an assumption that you're looking at another type of data which is continuous. And you're like, oh, I need a continuous data. Think about it. You can pause the video now and think about what continuous data will be if all of these are discrete data. What do you think continuous data will be? Let's think about it. You can pause the video and try to align yourself with it. What do we think continuous data will be if all of these are discrete? If all of these are discrete, what do you think continuous data will be? Continuous data are definitely the opposite of discrete data, right? They are definitely the opposite. So what we say continuous data, you're talking about data like this. I'll give you an example very quickly here. Let's say the weight of a person. Weight of a person. The weight of a person is continuous data, right? I can talk about the weight of the sample of a sound. Of a soil is a continuous data. Okay, you can weigh a particular soil and you're getting 2.266, right? 2.266 kilograms, right? You can weigh some and you're getting 50.545 grams and many more. So all of these are continuous data because they are not fixed. They are not fixed. You can't really say, oh, you have this. You can't really take a sample of sand now and say, oh, it's 50 grams. If you carry another sample of sand, you might not get that 50 grams. So they are not countable. That's the reason why we say continuous data are non-countable data. So they are non-countable data. Well, that makes some sense here now. So you have a countable data and then you have an uncountable data. When you're saying uncountable data, you have your weight. Well, weight, measurements. Measurements. The measurement of anything is also uncountable, right? The length of a beam, right? The length of a beam, you might assume it at 7.2, but definitely might not be 7.2 in the real sense. Does that make some sense here? The length and breadth of a particular place is also not countable, because if I measure the length of this beam, I might take the exact same beam again and measure that length, and it's not going to be the same distance. I'm using civil engineering terms in this my video, and this is the reason why, because this statistical method is a very, very intuitive topic for the civil engineers and also engineers as well. So that's the reason why I'm using some engineering terms in case. But of course, I'm dedicating part of this video to some of the Yaba Tech students and also to some other students in Nigeria. The students at large in the entire country, as long as you're into engineering course and then you're taking statistics. Now, in this particular way, and this is not only that, I'm going to be extending this topic to even cover the concept of other departments like SLT, Science Laboratory Technology, Nursing, and many more, that medical lab students that are actually taking statistics as well, because it's a kind of intuitive idea to kind of predict, okay, what a particular thing will be. So measurement is also a discrete data, and not only that measurement is a discrete data, we also have other things that are also discrete data. You think about what I'm saying about discrete and non-discrete data right now. So there we go. So these are concrete concepts of what discrete data is and what continuous data is. That's that definition on data. Now I want to walk you guys through some steps here, and on a longer run we are going to still come back to it. Now this particular section of the video is assumed to think that you guys have the quick knowledge of the secondary idea of statistics and the secondary idea of probability. Secondary idea, okay? So when I say the word secondary idea, you guys understand what I mean. So I'm going to give you guys an example. Okay, so here's an example. If I have a data like this, say I have this set of variables. This is x right here, and here is the frequency. Okay, now I want to